Hello everyone, have a beautiful day. Today, we'll explore The First Cry, the village film where Tu Tieu and Uri act in a birth scene that suddenly feels real. Rain drums the roof, lamps glow, and a single newborn's cry ripples through the set, turning lines into life. We'll follow their tender glances, the market in the storm, the clinic miracle, and the lantern that rises like an answered prayer. If this journey moves you, please subscribe so you won't miss the next stories. The scream isn't written in the script. Breathe, breathe with me, Uri says, voice shaking, his forehead pressed to Tu Tieu's. Around them, the village clinic set hums, lamps glaring. Villagers turned extras holding their breath. The midwife actor counting, 1, 2, push. Then it happens. A high, piercing wail that cleaves the room open. The first cry. A prop baby won't do that. Sound design can mimic it, but not the shiver that runs through everyone's bones. Uri's eyes flash something ancient and unguarded. He laughs and breaks at once, a sound that isn't part of his lines. His hands tremble, trying to wipe Tu Tieu's sweat, which is only glycerin, only makeup, except her fingers catch his wrist and squeeze like she means it. Like you do when real life first happens. Cut, the director begins, but the word dies on his tongue. No one dares to interrupt joy when it arrives. Uri's voice falls to a whisper, meant for one heart only. Do you hear that? Like he's answering me. Tu Tieu, playing the mother in the village's short film, meets his gaze. The lamp throws a ring of warm light over them. Maybe he is. The baby's cry fades into the clatter of applause. The set exhales. Someone laughs. Someone sobs. The boom mic dips, so stunned it forgets to hover. The director finally finds his voice. Hold positions, he calls, half choking, half euphoric. We got something golden. Uri's forehead rests against Tu Tieu's for one more breath. He doesn't let go until the world creeps back in. Crew, camera, lines, marks, the grid of tape across the floor. The magic recedes, leaves a glow behind, and then we rewind the morning. The village wakes with a soft clatter, roosters, a bicycle bell, incense curling from a spirit shelf. Tu Tieu pins her hair in a tidy bun and checks the script for scene 12. Birth room rain, outside happiness climax. She laughs at the note she scribbled last night, don't overplay, just feel. Out the window, clouds blur the sun. Good. The director wanted the weather. Uri jogs up the lane with a thermos and a grin too wide for the sky. For you, he says, setting down ginger tea. For our leading lady and our niche audience who loves quiet village mornings before the storm. She arches her brow. Since when did you become part of the SEO department? Since I realized the internet likes you best when your eyes smile first. He says it casually, but his voice has that low gravity it gets when the camera isn't rolling. They walk to set past neighbors, building the market stall backdrop, past a banner hand painted by aunties, who insisted the letters be heart-shaped, past kids rehearsing their one-line congratulations and giggling every time they mispronounce it. Everyone knows it's a village film, a love letter to the place that raised them. Everyone also knows that when Tu Tieu and Uri act, the line between pretending and truth becomes a thread you could slip a ring onto. Blocking for scene 3, the director calls. Herb stall intro, light banter, then we jump to the clinic later when the rain comes. Tu Tieu steps behind the stall, piled with mock ginseng and real basil because the props team ran out. Uri stands beside her, hands steady on the umbrella because the clouds are already bruising. They greet the lens like they greet the world. "Friends," Tu Tieu says, the warmth of her real self sliding into the scene. "Thank you for being with us. Today," Uri adds, "we harvest courage." He throws a tiny look at her. It's not in the script, but it lands anyway. The first raindrops tick the awning. The crew smiles. Nature is cooperating. They shoot the market montage, coins clinking, a baby wrapped on a young mother's chest, Uri handing out umbrellas to background actors like a best man at a wedding no one invited him to. They shoot the tea break, Tu Tieu sealing winter melon jam into a jar. Uri stirring a pot not actually on, steam added later in post, but care present now, unmistakable. Their conversation is written. Their silences are not. The camera drinks both. When the rain fattens into sheets, they move to the clinic set. An auntie lights oil lamps for mood, and because the generator hiccups, the room is small, the bed narrow, the air gold. Tu Tieu changes into the simple cotton dress the customer sewed from a pattern older than every modern love story. Uri changes into a shirt washed thin and soft, sleeves rolled, hands suddenly uncertain. "Ready?" the director asks. "Yes," they say, together. The delivery scene begins. The midwife actor talks them through the measured breathing, but the rhythm they find isn't taught. It is bone deep, an old drum rolling inside two people who have never held a child together and yet carry this moment like a vow. Uri's face goes raw, astonishment, fear, devotion. His thumbs draw circles at the base of her fingers without thinking. He doesn't notice the camera creeping in. He doesn't notice anything except the rise and break of her breath and the joke she slips between pushes because she knows he'll laugh through anything if she asks him to. "Look at me," she whispers, half in character, half in need. "I'm here," he says, entirely himself. Someone outside bumps a light, and the bulb flares. The sound guy swears under his breath, corrects. Rain rattles the corrugated roof, a drum roll for a miracle no one expects from a midday shoot in a borrowed clinic. "Push," the midwife actor says. "Now." The room swells. The camera tilts. A runner, breathless, slides in with the swaddled prop. But the wail we began with cuts through first. Not from the cloth bundle. From the corridor, where a real mother, one of the village extras who arrived late, has just given birth in the back room because the doctor they borrowed for realism is also an actual doctor and refused to let her wait. Joy crashes the set without permission. In that split-second collision of story and life, Uri's face breaks open. He hears the cry like an answer to a question he never asked aloud. Do I want this? Do we? He looks at Tu Tieu. She looks at him. The scene is still rolling. Let it roll, the director whispers, throat tight. Let it roll. Uri folds his forehead to hers. Do you hear him? Like he was waiting for your cue, she says. Outside, the rain becomes applause against the roof. Inside, two actors hold still, and all at once, nothing feels like acting. The corridor goes quiet, then blooms with soft voices and footsteps. Somewhere back there, a real mother is crying and laughing at once. The camera stays on Tu Tieu and Uri. No one yells cut. The midwife actor moves with reverence, changing the choreography but keeping the truth. She takes the cloth bundle, leans in, and whispers like a blessing. He's here. It's a prop. Yes, but the room has already decided to believe. Uri reaches first, then stops, palms hovering like prayer over the tiny swaddle. Go on, Tu Tieu breathes, smiling through tears that smear the stage makeup into something more honest. Meet your son. Uri laughs, a startled sound that breaks into a sob. His hands close around the bundle like the day is made of glass. He turns, and the light catches him rain wet, lamp warm. All the storms and suns of a future he swore he wasn't thinking about. He brings the bundle close, cheek against the cloth, then lowers it so the lens can drink his face. I hear you, he whispers, not to the prop, but to the echo in his chest. The line isn't in the script. It lands anyway. They finish the scene like two people crossing a bridge they just built together. The midwife actor announces the baby's weight with a flourish. The aunties improvise a lullaby so old that even the cameraman hums along by the second verse, and Tu Tieu gathers the child in her arms. When Uri kneels to kiss her forehead, the boom dips, but no one notices. Everything else is steady eyes, breath, the invisible strings stretched between them. Cut, the director says at last, voice rough. Silence hangs, then collapses into applause. Laughter, a scraping chorus of chairs and cables as the set exhales. Someone whoops. Someone throws a clean towel at Uri. He catches it, grinning like a man who just watched the sky open and drop him a future. The producer squeezes past with 2 umbrellas. Real mother and baby are stable, she reports, eyes shining. Our doctor's with them. She said, if you want, you can say hello after we strike. Of course, Tu Tieu says, already half rising. After we strike, the director repeats gently, because he knows the camera now has a last shy scene to collect. The softness that lingers once the miracle is named. They roll one more and take just hands, Uri's fingers folding around Tu Tieu's, their knuckles nicked from farm work the makeup never fully hides. The prop bundle cradled between them like a secret that belongs to both. The rain slackens. The lamps turn the air into honey. And when the slate claps, it sounds like a door closing on one life and opening onto another. Picture wrap on the berth, calls the assistant director. Set breaks into motion. Costumes rustle. Cables lift and coil. The aunties raid the snack table like warriors. Uri slips away and returns with ginger tea he somehow kept warm. He nudges it into Tu Tieu's hands, then sits on the edge of the narrow bed. For a moment, they don't speak. The room hums with small, ordinary noises, and the big, extraordinary one still echoes in both of them. That cry, he says, rubbing his thumb along the paper cup rim. It went straight through me. She watches him over the steam, a smile that feels like standing in a doorway and not being afraid of the step. I saw. I didn't know I was listening to it. His laugh is quiet, a little stunned. I thought this was just a scene for the village, a good story for our niche. Quiet, tender, life-affirming. But when I heard it, I heard my heart answer back. He meets her eyes, like he's ready to hear whatever truth she gives. Tu Tieu sets the tea down. Her palms slide to her belly, out of habit from playing the role. Her fingers pause there as if remembering a future that isn't written yet. What did it say? She asks. He searches for the bravest version of the truth. Find it. It said yes. The corridor door creaks. The doctor peeks in, hair damp, smile tired and huge. "She's resting," she whispers. "Do you want to greet them?" They go down the narrow hall where rainwater tracks like silver script, into a little room where life has just widened. The real mother, cheeks flushed, cradles a real boy who blinks like he's reading the room and approves its lighting. She nods when the producer asks permission. She even presses the baby nearer to Tu Tieu. "Careful," the doctor murmurs, but it's a habit. The baby fits into Tu Tieu's arms like a note into the bar of a song that's been waiting. He squirms, makes a sound, a small New World door creaking open. Uri leans in, and without thinking, he does exactly what he did in rehearsal last week when he couldn't stop himself. He lowers his head until his ear nearly touches the baby's chest. "I hear him," he whispers. And this time, he really does. The wet drum of a beginning. He closes his eyes. For a breath, the world is only a heartbeat. They leave the room light-footed, as if joy is sleeping, and they don't want to wake it too quickly. When they step outside, the rain has washed the village clean and left the air smelling like leaves that discovered they could shine. Sunset glows behind the bamboo fence, the puddles learning to hold stars. The crew gathers by the market stall backdrop, which now looks less like a set and more like a promise. Someone brings out a single paper lantern saved for luck. Someone else finds two more, because love stories prefer pairs. The director clears his throat, performs a little speech that is mostly thank yous and a little bit of prayer, and then nods to them. "You light it," he tells Tu Tieu. "You hold it," he tells Uri, "and whatever you say next, we won't write it." They do as they're told. Flame blooms. The lantern becomes a small moon in their hands. The camera watches, but gently now, like a friend. Tu Tieu looks at Uri. "When the scene became real," she says, "were you scared?" "Only for a second," he answers. "Then it felt like an answer." "To what?" "To the life that keeps asking if we're ready." He smiles, a little helpless, a lot sure. "I think I am, with you." The lantern lifts from their fingers, finds the evening, drifts. Above, the last wet leaves clap softly, a leafy ovation. Below, two actors stand shoulder to shoulder, not acting. A child runs across the lane, shouting that the sky is a bowl, and tonight it's full. The aunties laugh. The camera tilts up, following the lantern as it climbs out of the village and into the part of the story where endings are just beginnings, with quieter music. "The first cry," the director says, as if christening the film and the moment in one breath. Uri threads his fingers through Tu Tieu's. The wind answers for both of them, warm and certain. And somewhere inside each of their chests, a heartbeat answers back, yes, yes, yes.
Tiếng khóc đầu tiên kể về một cảnh quay phim ở làng quê biến thành nhịp tim mà bạn có thể nghe thấy. Từ Tia và Uri bắt đầu một khu chợ đẫm mưa cùng nhau uống trà và liếc nhìn, sau đó chuyển đến một phòng khám được thắp sáng bằng đèn dầu. Trong cảnh sinh nở được rèn dựng, tiếng khóc của một đứa trẻ sơ sinh thực sự vang lên từ hành lang, phá vỡ không gian giữa diễn xuất và sự thật. Niềm vui che chở của Uri vỡ òa, nước mắt của Tự Tiêu biến lớp trang điểm thành sự thật. Họ hoàn thành cảnh quay, sau đó chào đón người mẹ và em bé, lắng nghe tiếng trống nhỏ bé của sự khởi đầu. Khi kết thúc, đoàn làm phim tập trung tại phông nền của khu chợ. Một chiếc đèn đồng giấy được nâng lên khi Uri thừa nhận trái tim anh đã đồng ý với tình yêu, với tương lai, với gia đình. Máy quay hướng lên bầu trời đêm trong khi những chiếc lá đẫm mưa vỗ tay. Đây là câu câu chuyện về một vở kịch trở thành một lời hứa, và hai người nhận ra vai diễn của họ đã sẵn sàng để sống thực sự.